Hello and welcome back to STEAM with Steve. Today we're going to jump into the world of BODMAS, which is really useful for when we're trying to study how algebra sort of works. So let's jump on in. Now BODMAS is basically the order of operations that you're going to face when you're dealing with any mathematical equation. Now it stands for brackets, operation, divide, multiply, add, and then lastly subtract at the end. And then there's a bit of a dad joke there. So the plus sign is after you because the brackets, the power, and the divide has to happen first. So that's a little bit of math chivalry for you. So to begin, I'm going to do a bit of a provocation. If we had a scenario where Jenny bought 4 pencils and 3 notebooks, and each pencil cost $2 and each notebook cost $5, what's wrong with the calculations if she did it that way? So just pause the video and see if you can work out the total cost that it should have been. Cool. So the total cost should have been timesing where it was adding and then adding where it was timesing. So she got that sort of a little bit backwards. So 4 pencils times $2 and then you had 3 notebooks times $5. And if you add all that together, you get $23. So that would have been the correct cost. Now, because of the operations, that's really important when we're trying to solve BODMAS questions to work out what actually has to happen so we don't get a little confused there. Cool. So the objectives that we want to do, we understand the significance of the order of operations. We would then want to apply BODMAS rule to solve the arithmetic problems. And lastly, we want to increase the complex problems using these BODMAS scenarios that we're going to look into. So what is BODMAS? Well, it's pretty simple. It stands for brackets, operations or orders, division, multiplication, addition, and then subtraction. So the O has a whole heap of different meanings. So it can mean orders or operations. It then determines the order in which operations should be performed in any arithmetic expression. So for example, 3 times 4 plus 2, if we look at the BODMAS, the multiply is more powerful. So that has to occur first, and then we add on 2 at the end. So 3 times 4 is 12, plus the 2 gives you 14. So BODMAS, hopefully you've picked up, I've color coordinated this to try and make it a little bit more obvious. So brackets are the most powerful, you must always do those first, then your operations, then divide, then multiply, add, and then subtract. Some countries do a different one, so you might have heard of BEDMAS, so the E stands for exponents, BOMDAS, so sometimes they'll move the M and the D around, which you can get away with, but this is my favorite one to sort of remember this all with. So BODMAS isn't getting huge, but that image might hopefully burn into your brain. This guy's ridiculously big. Yeah, so that's one way that you can sort of link this. So BODMAS, brackets, then you do your operations, then you divide, then you multiply, then you add, and then lastly, you subtract. So follow that pattern and you'll be right as rain with this. So operations can take on different values as well. So there's a whole heap of other operations, not just powers. So if you do a power, that takes precedence over everything apart from brackets. Same with the square root of numbers or roots. Later down the track, you might do some trigonometry or any logs as well. So all these have more power in the order of precedence than the add, subtract, multiply, and divide. So basic BODMAS questions, just pause the video, see if you can punch these guys out. And just remember BODMAS, follow the pattern. Cool, so for the first one, 5 plus 2 times 3, we would do the times first. So we'd do 5 plus 6, and then we would get 11. If we do 8 divided by 2, brackets 2 plus 1, we do the brackets first, so we get 3. Then 8 divided by 2 times 3, which gives us 4 times 3, which then gives us 12. Next one, we've got 6 plus 4 times 2 minus 5. The 6 plus 4 is inside of brackets, so that becomes 10. 10 times 2 minus 5, we get 20 minus 5, which then gives us 15. Awesome. So a quick little BODMAS example here. If we're given this equation, so 7 plus 2 times 12 minus 8, we do what's inside the brackets first. So that becomes 9, that becomes 4. Then 9 times 4 gives us our good old 36. So notice that you don't do the times first, even though it's high in the precedence, because you've got brackets wrapped around those two things. So now just pause the video, have a go at these guys. So awesome. So the first one, we've got 2 plus 3 times 7. We would do the times first. So we get 2 plus 21, which then gives us 23. The next one, we've got 5 plus 8 times 2. So we do 5 plus 16, which gives us 21. The next one, we've got 10 minus 20 divided by 2, which gives us 10 minus 10, which gives us 0. 22 minus 16 divided by 4, we get 22 minus 4, which then gives us 18. Next one, we would do the times first. So 6 times 3 is 18. 7 times 2 is 14. So then 14 plus 18 gives us 32. And then this one here, we've got 1 times 8, which gives us 8. Then take away 6, which then equals 2. Using order operations for these next ones, as soon as you see brackets, you need to do those first. So even though times has a bigger precedence than plus, because we're using brackets, this becomes 2 times 5, which then equals 10. Next one, we've got 18 divided by 10 take away 4, which then gives 18 divided by 6, which then equals 3. And then the last one here, we've got 19 take away 9 divided by 5, so we've got 10 divided by 5, which then equals 2. So hopefully that's helped you with the first challenge. So the next example, making it a little bit harder, we're going to amp it up. So we're going to put a power in here. So even though a power is pretty powerful, we do the brackets first. Now, this doesn't mean you have to just do the brackets line first and then move on. Sometimes if there's separate terms, you can actually do them all at one go. So in this case here, I'm going to do a little bit different. I'm going to work that out, but then I'm also going to work that out because it's separate outside the brackets. You can do that. So 50 divided by 10 plus 8 is what that expression becomes. And now it should be a little bit easier. We've got the divide, the plus, so we would do the divide first and then the plus. So 50 divided by 10 is 5, and then plus 8, we add that on and we get our 13. Cool. So pause the video, have a go at this one. When you see square brackets like that, that just means it's attached outside of the original first brackets inside the brackets. Cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the big brackets first. So that what's inside that is the 2 plus 3. So we solve that. So now we've got 2 times 5 minus 1 all wrapped inside brackets. And because they're inside of brackets, they take precedence. So we need to do those first. So we get 2 times 25 take away 1, which then gives us 2 times 24, which then gives us 48. The next one, same process, do the 2 plus 3 first, then 50 divided by the 5 plus the 1, and then times that all by 6. So 50 divided by 5 plus 1 times 6 gives us 2 plus 1 times 6, which gives us 3 times 6, which then gives us 18. The next one, triple the sum of 3 and 6. So when you say the sum of 3 and 6, we need to bind that together. So this is the same as 3 lots of 3 plus 6, because we're tripling all of that. So that gives us 3 times 9, which then gives us 27. Then the last one, we've got 5 more than the product of 6 and 12. So the 5 more than the product of 6 and 12 would mean that I would do 5 more, so 5 plus the 6 times 12. Now the times occurs first, so we do that first, and then 5 plus 72 gives us 77. Cool, so the last example I want to do is something really complex, something like this. And I want you just to follow the same process that we've just done before. So in this case here, we would do the brackets first, and then you could possibly do the powers. So negative 8 plus negative 82, well, positive negative makes a negative in the middle there. So now we have negative 8 minus 82, which then gives us negative 90. Then I'm going to do divided by 3 squared, which gives us divided by 3, and then bring down that negative 2 times negative 6. Now we've got as a divide and a times, we just follow the BODMAS and read across. So we go negative 90 divided by 9 gives us negative 10, and then that becomes plus 12, and then negative 10 plus 12, answer becomes just plus 2. Cool. So when we get complex problems, you'll become more confident with these BODMAS, and you'll encounter more and more larger operations and larger numbers. So it's really important that we stay organized and just follow the pattern of BODMAS. So brackets, operations, multiply, divide, add, and then subtract. So some of the advanced problems, let's have a go at that one. So this one here, 20 divided by 5 times 3 plus 2. So we do this 2 plus 3 first, which gives us 5. And then we've got, we just read it across. So 20 divided by 5 gives us 4, and then 4 times 5 gives us back to the 20. The next one, we've got 4 plus 18 divided by 3 times 2. Do the brackets first, then it becomes 6. And then because we've got a divide in the middle, we must do that first. So 18 divided by 6 gives us 3, 4 plus 3, and then take away 7 leaves us with 0. Last one here, we'll do the brackets first. So 15 minus 5 gives us 10. Times 2 plus 4, which gives us 8. So 10 times 8 gives us 80. Yes. Did I get that right? 10 times, my bad. 60, and then 60 divided by 3 leaves us with the 20. Here's a really good question and a challenge question. So just pause the video, see if you can have a go at this guy. So a cafeteria serves lunch up to 250 students every day. The total cost per student is calculated using the formula 5 plus 2 times 3. How much money has the cafeteria spent in a week if they did not use BODMAS correctly here? So let's say that they did the add first instead of the times. That's what we need to be able to identify what the problem is wrong. So because there's only two operations, they've got add and times, you need to think, well, which one would they have done if they did it incorrectly? So the correct way of doing it per student, if we've got 5 plus 2 times 3, we would do 2 times 3 first, which gives us 6, plus the 5 gives us 11. And then the total cost for the cafeteria would be 11 times 250 students. The incorrect way would then be 5 plus 2 first, then times that by 3. So we get 21. And then we would work out the total cost there. So that equals 21 times 250, which gives us 5,250. So how much extra has the cafeteria spent in the week? Well, we just do the difference. So we do 5,250 minus the 2,750, and we get 2,500. Cool. So homework for this week, Dr. Frost, there's some algebra questions there using BODMAS. So make sure you play around with it. Like I said, the first probably 8 questions, they're pretty cookie cutter. Then they get a little bit difficult from there. And then the last question is usually a challenge question, just to push yourselves a little bit further outside your comfort zone. So that's pretty much it from me. Hopefully you've picked up BODMAS. So you always do your brackets first, operations, divide, multiply, add, and then subtract at the end. If you did enjoy this video, please give us a like and subscribe, as it does help with that YouTube algorithm. And yeah, that's it from me. So see you next time on STEAM with Steve. Adios.